Curvy Girl's incredible secret revealed. How 10 unbelievable days transformed her life forever. Jenna stood behind the counter of the local diner, the smell of grease and coffee a constant reminder of her daily grind. Her heart sank as she caught sight of Rachel, the regular who always snickered when Jenna went to take her order. If only the world had eyes to see beyond curves, she thought. At 26, the weight of judgment hung heavy on her shoulders. Her grandmother's whispered rants about fitting in echoed in her mind, woven into the fabric of family dinners filled with self-criticism. On a good day, she'd bury the insecurity deep, painting a smile over the hurt. But today felt different. As she flipped through the evening's newspaper, something caught her eye: a vibrant flyer about a community wellness retreat. Empowerment through self-acceptance, the words shimmered off the page, pulling at the frayed edges of her spirit. The allure of 10 days away, immersed in a world of possibilities, tugged her heart so intensely that before she could second-guess herself, Jenna signed up. The retreat was a whirlwind. The moment Jenna arrived, she was enveloped by laughter and camaraderie. Women of all shapes, colors, and backgrounds shared their own battles for self-acceptance. Each story felt familiar, laced with echoes of her grandmother's struggles. One night during a candlelit session, they sat in a circle, tears staining cheeks, as they revealed their insecurities. Jenna felt her heart race as the pain of years of judgment unfurled before her, an emotional tapestry woven from struggling to feel worthy. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The moment of greatest impact came one chilly night when the topic shifted to family. Jenna hesitated, her fingers trembling as she grasped the truth bubbling beneath the surface. A family secret lay buried deep within the stories of women who had fought against the same tides of prejudice. Suddenly, the stark realization hit her like ice water. She wasn't just a reflection of societal expectations. Her mother had battled the same demons, a woman consumed by her own insecurities and harsh reality. Jenna's thoughts raced as visions of her mother's pain, once distant and abstract, became tangible. An unexpected confrontation loomed ahead, fueled with the anticipation of emotional catharsis. Can forgiveness exist within a family entrenched in silence? Jenna would find out soon enough. As the retreat concluded, the bonds she forged shaped her, leaving a path of understanding and bravery. Yet, just as she felt empowered to confront her estranged mother, a shocking revelation about her mother's past surfaced, a truth so raw it threatened everything Jenna believed to be true. How could the woman she sought to reconcile withhold such a pivotal piece of her own struggle? Would this twist unravel her hard-earned peace, forcing her to reassess everything she'd learned? The question hung heavily in the air, echoing her need for clarity as she prepared to face a journey that would define her future. Jenna's heart raced as she prepared for the fateful conversation. She had returned home, her head filled with memories of the retreat and the support she had experienced there. But back in the familiar clutter of her childhood home, the old echoes rushed back to drown out the newfound voices of empowerment. Each stack of bills on the table, each picture on the wall whispered reminders of failures and unfulfilled expectations. As she stood in her living room, she felt like a stranger. But it was time to confront that stranger, her mother. Her palms were sweaty as she knocked on the door of the bedroom she once shared with her sister. A soft voice called from inside, weary yet familiar. "Come in." She opened the door, revealing her mother, a shadow of the vibrant woman Jenna remembered from childhood. The years of struggle etched onto her face told stories that had remained unspoken for too long. "Hey, Mom," Jenna said, forcing a smile onto her face, but it felt like it was painted on. "Jenna, is everything okay?" Her mother's eyes sparkled with concern, but there was a hint of something else, something that betrayed a lifetime of hurt. Jenna took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. It was now or never. I want to talk about us, about everything. Her mother frowned, glancing around as if seeking escape. What do you mean? About our journeys, about what we both faced, Jenna replied. I discovered so much at the retreat. I started to understand how our stories aren't just our own. Mom, I found out some painful truths about you. Things I didn't know before. A stillness settled over them like a thick fog, heavy with unspoken words. Jenna watched her mother's expression change. The concern melted into something darker, almost defensive. You can't believe everything you hear. But Jenna pressed on, her voice steady. I want to know. I need to understand what you went through, the struggles that affected you and, in turn, affected me. I don't want to carry this weight anymore. I want to forgive, to heal. Tears brimmed in her mother's eyes. Healing isn't always easy. I know, Jenna said softly, but we can't let silence define us. I want to break this cycle. Her mother looked away, chin quivering as she struggled to hold back emotions that had been trapped for decades. Jenna sensed the perfect blend of fear and yearning for connection. The opening battle within her mother was palpable. What do you want to know? Her mother finally asked, weary yet resigned. Everything, Jenna whispered. Your battles, your pain. They exchanged a look heavy with years of pain, resentment, and a flicker of hope. Jenna felt the tears well in her own eyes. After years apart, they both stood at the edge of something monumental. A moment where pain could lead to healing, but also where the truth had the potential to shatter long-held beliefs. Her mother sighed, looking small in that moment. Okay, but hear me out, some things you might not want to accept. Jenna nodded, heart racing. This was the moment she'd been waiting for, an opportunity for understanding and connection. But as her mother began to speak, every word unfolding a past Jenna had never known, the tension in the room shifted. What if the truth was even more painful than the silence? Jenna tightened her grip on the edge of the table, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She wanted answers, but were there some truths better left unspoken? As her mother's voice filled the air, Jenna held her breath, aware that her life could pivot in this one pivotal conversation. Would the revelation change everything she had fought for? Would it redefine who they were to each other? Her mother began to unveil the secrets, and Jenna steeled herself for the storm that was about to break. Jenna leaned in, her heart pounding in her chest as her mother took a shaky breath. The air thickened between them, heavy with the gravity of unsaid words. It all started when I was just a girl like you, Jenna, her mother began, voice cracking slightly. Your grandmother, she wasn't the nurturing type. Life was tough. Jenna felt her skin prickle. She hadn't heard much about her grandmother. Already the image of a strict, distant figure formed in her psyche. What was she like? Her mother hesitated, searching for the right words. She had her own demons. Drinking, anger. It shaped me in so many ways. I was always trying to stay out of her way. The revelation hung in the air, drawing Jenna deeper into the conversation. What did that do to you, Mom? Jenna asked gently, wanting to pull her into the light. Made me scared, scared to fail, scared to feel. I thought if I could be perfect, it would change everything, she replied, her eyes glistening. But perfection was a mask, Jenna. Underneath, I was terrified and lonely. I carried that fear into everything, including my journey as your mother. Jenna's stomach twisted. The realization that her mother had been struggling with her own battles shattered something inside her. I thought you were the strong one, the one who had it all together, Jenna whispered, feeling the walls of her past begin to crack. I wore that mask so well, didn't I? Her mother chuckled lightly, a bittersweet smile gracing her lips. But it was heavy. I didn't know how to let you see the real me. I was too afraid it would chase you away. Jenna felt tears pooling again, touched by her mother's vulnerability. I needed to see that. I think it would change things for us. Her mother's silence spoke volumes. They were both navigating through years of regret, faced with the decision to either continue towards healing or return to the safety of silence. Mom, Jenna pressed, feeling the urgency to break down the remaining barriers. What made you feel like you couldn't lean on me? I want to understand how we got here. Her mother's face fell, reflecting a deep weariness. Because I didn't want to pass on the weight of my struggles to you. I was afraid of my past, afraid it would taint your light. The words tumbled out, raw and honest. Jenna shook her head, desperate to convey her truth. But we're stronger together. I wanted to carry your burden if you'd let me. I wanted to share your pain so we could heal. In that moment, Jenna's mother seemed to shrink into herself, a mix of relief and deep-rooted fear flickering through her features. You have your own battles, sweetheart, she whispered. I wanted to shield you from it all. But by doing that, you kept me in the dark. Jenna exclaimed, frustration mounting. I needed you to show me the real struggle. I needed to see how strong you truly were. We could have faced it together. The silence that followed echoed painfully in the room until her mother broke it with a sob. I know, I just didn't know how to let go. Jenna reached across the table, instinctively placing her hand over her mother's trembling one. Let us figure that out together. Together. Her mother's gaze met hers, flooding with a mixture of fear and hope. It was a powerful moment, transformative. Neither had realized the depths of their connection until now. But as they sat together, Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that unearthing the past could lead them down a more treacherous path. What other burdens lay hidden in the shadows? Was uncovering those secrets going to strengthen their bond or tear them apart even further? Before they could delve deeper, a rapid series of knocks interrupted them. Jenna's heart dropped. Who could that be? She murmured, glancing towards the door, anxiety flooding her. The very interruption that could change everything was knocking at their door. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. She exchanged a quick glance with her mother, who wore a blend of curiosity and apprehension on her face. The knocks echoed louder, each one ringing with an urgency that seemed to vibrate in the very air around them. Should we answer it? Her mother whispered, that mask of strength slipping just a little more off her face. I don't know, Jenna replied, feeling her heart race again, though mixed emotions churned inside her. What if it was someone from the past? Someone who could stir up more secrets? Or worse, someone who might shatter this delicate moment of honesty they had just begun to navigate. The knocking continued, more insistent this time, a sharp reminder that life outside their fragile bubble was still happening, still pressing upon them. It was a distraction, and Jenna could feel her resolve wavering. Maybe it's just a neighbor, her mother offered weakly, clearly attempting to push the tension aside. But Jenna could see the flicker of concern in her eyes. This moment was meant for just the two of them, keeping all the painful ghosts at bay. Go check, she urged, giving her mother a gentle push. I'll stay here. With a nod, her mother rose from her chair, the atmosphere in the room trembling with unvoiced emotions. Jenna watched her retreat towards the door, hoping that whatever was waiting to crash in wouldn't pull them apart. As her mother reached for the doorknob, Jenna's mind raced. What if it was an old friend? What if it was more family, more history? The past unraveled, with secrets tucked behind closed doors, just waiting for the worst moment to bubble up to the surface. Then, with a slow creak, the door opened. Jenna couldn't see who was there, but she heard her mother's voice slip into a gentle surprise. Oh, you! Jenna's heart sank. She leaped from her seat, anxiety pinching her stomach as she rounded the corner to peer over her mother's shoulder. The figure in the doorway was unmistakable. Jenna's aunt, Rachel, stood there with wide eyes and a flushed face. She looked disheveled, her hair escaping from a messy bun, her shirt slightly wrinkled as if she had rushed over. What are you doing here? Jenna's mother stammered, her mood shifting from curiosity to unease. I didn't want to interrupt, but it's important, Rachel replied, glancing inside the house, her expression a mix of concern and urgency. Jenna felt her heart race even faster. Was it her turn to come face to face with unknown truths? Important? Her mother repeated, her tone softening, but the tension still thrummed in the air. It's about Grandma. I found something. Rachel hesitated, her gaze darting between Jenna and her mother. Something that could change everything. Jenna felt a chill as Rachel's words sank in. All at once, the careful progress they had made felt fragile, the ground beneath them shifting. She wanted answers, But at what cost? Change everything? Jenna whispered, crossing her arms tightly against her chest as she stood rooted in place. A wave of dread rushed through her. Yes, Rachel said, stepping inside, the door clicking shut behind her. We need to talk. It's time for the truth, all of it. As the three women stood in the dim light of the kitchen, the weight of years lingered heavy in the air. In that moment, Jenna knew their fragile connection would soon be tested like never before. Would their bond survive the truth, or would it unravel even more? Her stomach twisted, and a single question formed in her mind. What shocking revelation lay ahead, poised to either heal or harm them all? Jenna's mind raced as Rachel stepped further into the kitchen, the tension thick like an uninvited guest. She could see her mother grappling with a mix of emotions, confusion layered with a protective instinct. What had Rachel uncovered about Grandma? Sit down, her mother said softly, motioning to the chairs at the table, her voice trembling as if she were trying to soothe the storm brewing inside them all. Jenna felt an odd wave of nostalgia wash over her, reminding her of old family gatherings when laughter filled the air. Now, however, only silence reigned. Rachel settled into a chair, glancing between Jenna and her mother. I found some old letters, her voice cracked, and she sucked in a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. They were hidden in a box in the attic. They're about Grandma's past, things she never told anyone. Jenna's stomach dropped. The attic was often a treasure trove of mysteries, often forgotten. What lay buried in those boxes could bring to light a whole world she knew nothing about. She squeezed her eyes shut for a moment, imagining the secrets waiting to be uncovered, secrets that might change everything she thought she understood about her family. Like what? Jenna finally found her voice, a mixture of curiosity and dread. What kind of things? Rachel hesitated again, and Jenna felt a pulse of impatience inside her. She mentioned someone named Thomas, Rachel finally said, looking directly at Jenna's mother. He has been left out of family stories, but I think he might be more important than we realize. Jenna watched as her mother's expression tightened. Thomas? Her voice was barely above a whisper. I don't know who he is, but the way Grandma wrote about him, it was different. Like he mattered in a way we never acknowledged. Rachel explained, the urgency of her words pressing on Jenna like a weight. Her mother slumped back in her chair, eyes narrowing with pain. My mother had a way of burying the past, Jenna. She thought if she didn't talk about it, it would disappear. But it doesn't just vanish. Does it? Jenna challenged, her voice rising. We're not the only ones struggling with this either. What if it's something even bigger? What if it's about who we are? The room fell quiet, the three of them caught in a web of shared uncertainty. Jenna's pulse quickened as she realized this could be the start of uncovering the truth that had eluded them for so long. Behind every lost photograph and forgotten letter, there was a story waiting to be told. Can you show us the letters? Her mother finally asked, her voice shaky but resolute. Rachel opened her purse and pulled out a folded stack of yellowed papers. Jenna watched, captivated, as she gently laid them on the table. The letters looked fragile, worn by time, yet they seemed to pulse with life, promising revelations just waiting to be shared. What if we find something horrible? Her mother asked suddenly, fear creeping into her eyes. Jenna thought of the fragile connections they had begun to mend, the openness she had craved. The thought of losing it all, of tearing open old wounds, made her anxious. Maybe we can handle it together, Jenna whispered, though her heart pounded with doubt. As they reached for the letters together, the air shimmered with anticipation. Each word, each story could either bridge the gap between them or widen it into an unbridgeable chasm. Just as her fingers brushed the letters, Jenna felt the knot of anxiety tighten. What if some truths were better left hidden? What if we aren't ready for this? She breathed, genuinely afraid of the unknown. The tension in the air had shifted again, transforming. They were stepping into the darkness of their family's past, set to uncover whatever lay waiting. Jenna could feel her heart racing faster than ever, both excited and terrified. They were on the brink of an avalanche, a storm of emotions and revelations brewing just under the surface. What lay in those letters could reveal truths darker than they had ever imagined. And the biggest question of all lingered: could they handle the might of what they were about to uncover together? Jenna's heart thumped in her chest as she felt the weight of those fragile letters beneath her fingertips. The faded ink seemed to beckon her, a siren calling her into unknown waters. Her mind spun with endless possibilities. This was it. They were about to dive headfirst into a past that had been carefully wrapped in silence. "Are you ready?" Rachel asked, her eyes wide and searching. Before Jenna could respond, her mother inhaled sharply, a sound that seemed to echo against the quiet of the kitchen. "We've never talked about Grandma's past, Rachel. You know that," she said, the tremor in her voice betraying her apprehension. "Maybe it's time to talk," Rachel replied quietly. Maybe she wanted us to know. This could help us understand her better, maybe even ourselves. Jenna nodded, her own resolve slowly building. "Let us read it," she declared, trying to infuse a sense of bravery into her voice, even as a part of her trembled at the thought. She glanced at her mother, who appeared lost between curiosity and fear. With a shaky hand, Rachel unfolded the first letter, the crisp paper crackling in the stillness. The words spilled out, wrapped in the care of decades gone by. "Dear Thomas," Rachel began, her voice rising and falling like a gentle melody. "It's been hard without you." Jenna leaned in closer, her breath hitching. Who was Thomas? As the letter unfolded, it painted a picture of a world they had never known. Tales of laughter, love, and intrigue danced off the parchment. Each line was like peeling back layers of Grandma's life, revealing someone vibrant and complex. "She loved him," Jenna's mother murmured softly, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I never knew." Rachel paused. What if Thomas is a part of why she never talked about her past? Maybe he hurt her, or maybe it was something else. But what if she had to protect us? Jenna countered. The thought sent a ripple of unease through the room. What if this is all too painful? Or what if it sets us free? Rachel fired back, a spark igniting in her voice. "Understanding the truth could help us heal and finally connect the patterns." Her mother shook her head, the lines around her eyes deepening. "I never wanted you to bear her burdens, Rachel. You have your own lives to lead. Maybe knowing is part of living." Jenna interjected, her determination shaking free from fear. "If we keep hiding from the past, it will follow us forever." Rachel took a deep breath and continued reading, her voice gaining momentum. "I dream of the day we can be together again. My heart aches for you." Every moment as the letters continued to reveal Grandma's wishes, hopes, and heartbreaks, Jenna felt the walls close in. The atmosphere thickened with a painful clarity, vibrating with all the family's untold stories. How had so much gone unsaid for so long? In that moment, an unmistakable realization struck Jenna. Grandma's secret was not just about Thomas. It was about resilience, love that lingered beyond pain, and the tangled threads that wove them all together. They too had the power to write their own stories, shaped by courage instead of fear. They were no longer just a family sitting around the table. They were witnesses to a legacy both beautiful and tragic. Jenna took a deep breath, the weight of the letters settling into her heart. "Can we keep going?" she asked, feeling every eye on her. "Let us uncover everything together." But as they leaned into the letters, ready to surface the next truth, a sharp knock echoed through the kitchen, startling them. It broke the fragile moment, sending shivers down Jenna's spine. "What was that?" Rachel whispered, glancing toward the door, while Jenna's mind raced with dread. The air turned electric again, thick with suspense. Who could it be? Did someone or something want to bury those revelations once more? And as the knock echoed again, Jenna felt the pulse of a new anxiety. Were they truly ready to face everything that lay ahead? Jenna's heart raced as she exchanged nervous glances with Rachel and her mother. The knock was sharp and insistent, cutting through the fragile atmosphere. It felt like a warning, a thunderclap breaking the delicate silence they had dared to share. "Should we answer it?" Rachel whispered, chewing her lower lip. "I don't know," Jenna replied, uncertain. Her instinct urged her to keep the door shut, to protect the fragile moment they had created. What if whoever was on the other side didn't understand? What if they disrupted the delicate process of unveiling their family's hidden history? Another knock sounded, louder this time. "Jenna? Rachel? It's me, Mom," came the voice from outside. Jenna's heart sank, a mix of relief and trepidation washing over her. It was just her mother. But still, that unease lingered. What if this knock was the beginning of something that couldn't be undone? "Do we really want to open this door now?" Rachel asked, her eyes darting nervously toward the entrance. "We can't leave her standing there," Jenna pointed out. "She'll just keep knocking." With a sigh, she rose to her feet, the letters momentarily forgotten on the table. As she crossed the kitchen, each step sounded louder in her ears, like an echo of the conflict already stirring between her desire to protect the family secret and their need for revelation. Jenna opened the door, and there stood her mother, hair slightly disheveled and eyebrows furrowed. Behind her stood a younger man, his face familiar yet distant. Something sparked in Jenna's memory, a fleeting image of family gatherings, forgotten chatter. Who was he? "Sorry to barge in like this," her mother said, catching her breath. "It's just that Nick heard you three were diving into Grandma's letters, and he wanted to be here." Jenna stared at Nick, the weight of his presence settling heavily in the room. "What do you mean?" she asked. "How do you even know about them?" He stepped forward, holding up his hands in a gesture of peace. "I was talking to Mom earlier today, and she mentioned that you were looking into Grandma's past. I thought maybe I could offer some insight." Rachel's brow furrowed. "Why didn't you say something sooner?" "Honestly," he said, looking around the kitchen, "I didn't think you'd want me here. Grandma and I had a complicated relationship." Jenna studied him, trying to gauge his intent. There was a sincerity in his voice, but still, the existing cracks in their family history loomed over them like a dark cloud. "Maybe we do want to hear what you have to say," Jenna finally replied, feeling the tide of uncertainty sway towards curiosity. "If you're willing to share, that is." Nick glanced back at her mother, who appeared caught between wanting to shield her daughters and the possibility that this was a moment she could not control. Jenna could see the emotions swirling behind her eyes: fear, sadness, perhaps hope. "All right," Nick said, taking a deep breath. "I have some stories too. Maybe in the end, they'll help you understand Grandma a little better. Maybe even Thomas." Jenna felt a chill run down her spine. Could this be what they needed? Another layer to pull away? But as Nick launched into his story, Jenna found herself wondering just how deep this rabbit hole went and what lies waiting on the other side. And as Nick spoke, Jenna felt the weight of not just Grandma's letters, but now the expectations of family history pressing against her chest. What other secrets waited to be uncovered? Would the truth about Thomas change everything they thought they knew? That question hung between them, heavy with implications. Would understanding bring them closer, or would it shatter the already strained threads of their family connection forever? Nick took a deep breath, his gaze steady as he began his story. "Growing up, Grandma was one of the most chaotic parts of my life. I never knew how to connect with her. She had this way of shutting people out." His eyes flickered to the letters stacked on the table, the weight of those very words palpable in the tense room. Rachel leaned in closer, fascinated. "What do you mean? You weren't close?" "Not really." His voice cracked with nostalgia. "She was a hurricane of emotions. I think part of me was scared of her. But there were moments, tiny gems of clarity. I remember once she sat me down in her old armchair. It smelled like lavender and something sweet. She read aloud from this old book. I was only 10, but I can still picture her face, lit up with passion as she shared this world I had never known." Jenna watched her brother closely, his words wrapped around her, almost comforting. She wanted to hear more but felt the familiar tug of dread creeping back in. "What did she tell you?" Nick paused, gathering his thoughts. "Stories about Thomas, about life before we were even a thought. She spoke of him like he was a ghost, both beautiful and haunting. He could make her laugh but also push her to tears. There was so much love, but also pain. It was always two sides with her. Did she ever explain why?" Rachel's voice was curious, laced with desire to understand all the pieces. Not directly, but I think she blamed herself for things that went wrong. The darker moments stuck with her. There were times I wanted nothing more than to know what made her so unhappy, Nick admitted, glancing at each of their faces to measure their reactions. What about the letters? Jenna pressed, the thought of those unguarded secrets intensifying her heartbeat. Did she talk about them? About those memories? He shook his head slowly. No, never. I found out about them only after she passed, tucked away beneath a stack of old photographs. After reading them, I realized that there was so much she kept hidden. I wish I'd paid more attention. The regret in his voice hung heavy in the air, making Jenna ache for the depths of understanding they had yet to uncover. Do you think she wanted us to find them? She asked quietly, her heart pounding at the thought. Maybe. Maybe she was waiting for the right moment, when we were ready to face what she couldn't. Nick's expression was earnest, piercing through the room like sunlight. Rachel fidgeted, glancing between them. So what do we do with what we have? Do we want to dig deeper? Jenna felt the question settle around her like a blanket of uncertainty, and deep in her gut, she knew they were at a crossroads. The idea of unraveling more seemed thrilling yet terrifying. I think it's time to confront the truth, all of it, even if it hurts. As the words left her mouth, a shared resolve formed between them, flickering like a spark in the dark. They had stumbled into a tangled web of family history, and despite the haze of fear, curiosity brewed. Just then, her mother spoke, voice softer, almost fragile. Are you sure you want to go down this path? Sometimes truths can hurt more than they heal. A deafening silence followed, each of them grappling with the weight in their hearts. Jenna held onto the thought that perhaps the pain was necessary. But was it worth risking their family ties for the sake of answers? With her heart racing, she looked at Nick. What if those letters hold the key? What if the truth is the only way for us to heal and understand Grandma? Nick's eyes widened, and for a moment, they shared a silent pact fueled by the will to uncover whatever lay hidden. The kitchen felt charged with energy, an unsettling anticipation accompanying their thoughts. Then a bang echoed from outside, a loud sound breaking through their conversation, jolting Jenna. What now? What did that mean? Her eyes widened in alarm, heart pounding even harder. In that instant, Jenna realized this was just the beginning. Whatever was coming next might shatter everything they thought they knew. As the excitement and dread battled inside her, she knew they had ventured into the unknown, where families risk everything for the sake of truth. What would they find when they finally opened Grandma's letters? Would they discover a path to healing or open up wounds they weren't ready to face? The noise outside rattled the window, and Jenna's heart raced as she rose from her chair. The kitchen was enveloped in an uneasy silence, her family caught between curiosity and caution. She glanced at Nick and Rachel, their expressions mirroring her own anxiety. Did you hear that? Jenna whispered, her voice barely above a hush. Nick nodded, his brow furrowed. It sounded like someone dropped something heavy. Rachel stood up slowly, a hint of fear creeping into her tone. Should we check it out? What if it's something serious? Fighting the urge to run outside, Jenna took a moment to breathe deeply. Maybe we should stay inside. Could be nothing, or it could be something we're not ready to face. With everything going on, it's like the universe is trying to tell us something, Nick said, folding his arms across his chest. Maybe we should just focus on the letters. But the bang echoed in Jenna's mind, refusing to let go. It stirred a sense of urgency inside her. She couldn't ignore the feeling that whatever lay beyond that door was tied to their family story, perhaps even to the letters they'd just uncovered. Let us just take a look, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. We can't turn back now. As they ventured toward the back door, anxiety wrapped around them like fog. There was something unexplainably compelling about stepping outside, as if the world had shifted right beneath their feet, intertwining their family's past with the present. They opened the door cautiously, the cool air rushing over them, bringing with it sense of damp earth and distant pine. The yard was quiet now, no sign of whatever had made that noise. Jenna squinted under the scattered sunlight, searching for movement. Over by the fence, Rachel said, pointing. The siblings rushed toward the corner of the yard. There, sprawled on the ground, was an old metal box, rusted and worn. It was partially buried in the leaves, as if it had just been waiting for them to find it. Jenna felt a tingle of recognition at the sight of it. What is that doing here? Looks like it might be Grandma's, Nick mused, kneeling down to inspect it. Maybe it holds more secrets. Jenna's breath hitched. If the letters held pieces of the puzzle, what could possibly be contained in that box? Do you think we should open it? Rachel glanced at them, unease mixed with eagerness. What if it's something we're not ready for? We'll never know unless we do, Nick replied, brushing the dirt off the top. As he pried open the lid, a rusty creak echoed through the air, almost like a scream of secrets being released. Inside were stacks of old photographs, more letters, and a weathered notebook with frayed edges. Each item seemed to come with its own weight, its own story. Jenna's heart raced. They weren't just uncovering memories. They were unveiling a deeper layer of their family's history. Would the contents of this box provide the clarity they so desperately needed, or would it add more confusion and pain? As they sifted through the treasures, Jenna caught sight of an envelope, marked with her grandmother's neat handwriting. Her pulse quickened. Guys, this one has our names on it. The air grew heavy with anticipation as her fingers hovered over it. Whatever it contained was meant for them, a connection to a past they were just beginning to understand. But then, just as she was about to open it, a loud shout erupted from the other side of the yard. They turned to see a figure emerging from the trees, fear and urgency etched on their face. Stop! Don't go any further. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. Who was this stranger, and how did they know about the box? The sense of safety slipped away as they stood frozen in shock. What were they about to uncover, and what truths would the stranger reveal? The pieces of their family history were shifting, and a new mystery was unfolding. Jenna's heart pounded as she locked eyes with the stranger rushing through the trees. Confusion wrapped around her like a thick fog. Who are you? She called out, her voice trembling slightly. The newcomer skidded to a halt, panting heavily. You shouldn't be here, he warned, glancing nervously at the old metal box. He was tall, with a wild mane of curly hair and wide, expressive eyes that sparkled with urgency. You don't know what you've found. Rachel took a step closer, hand gripping Jenna's elbow. What do you mean? We just discovered this box. Is it yours? No, he said firmly, shaking his head. It belonged to your grandma, Alice. But it's not safe for you to look inside. Why not? Jenna pressed, frustration bubbling at the surface. Their journey had already been riddled with uncertainties, and this felt like another obstacle thrown in their path. We have to know what's inside. The stranger took a deep breath and seemed to weigh his options. I'm Nathan, he finally said, running a hand through his hair. I was close to your grandma, and she entrusted me with some of her stories, secrets that could change everything for you. But what you found, it's complicated. It's a part of her past she wanted to keep buried. Jenna's pulse quickened. Why would she want that? We have a right to know who she was and what she went through. Nathan shifted, glancing back at the trees. Because some memories aren't meant to surface. They could hurt you. They hurt her. The weight of his words settled heavily in the air, igniting a storm of emotions within Jenna. She looked at Rachel and Nick, searching their faces for a sign, a flicker of understanding. What kind of memories? I can't explain everything right here, Nathan replied, urgency seeping into his voice. But trust me when I say that exposing her past could change everything for you. Could tear your family apart. Jenna felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Were they truly ready to face potentially devastating truths? What if they could learn something that would rip the ground out from under them? Determination rose in her chest, pushing her forward. We deserve to know the truth, no matter how painful. It's the only way we can heal. Rachel nodded, looking more resolute. If Grandma wanted to bury the past, maybe it was out of fear and not out of a desire to protect us. We can't be chained to her choices. As Jenna stood there, something sparked in her, a flicker of bravery. Nathan, if you have answers, tell us everything. You've made it clear that this is about more than just the letters. We can't move forward without knowing our history. Our family deserves that. Nathan looked at her, studying the fire in her eyes. Finally, he sighed heavily, the tension written all over his face. "All right," he said, stepping closer. "But understand, what I share may reshape who you think you are. You have to be prepared for that." Jenna and her siblings nodded firmly, their resolve unwavering. Whatever torrents they had to brave, they were ready. They were about to unearth more than just memories. They were prepared to confront the very essence of their family. "Let us sit down," Nathan said. "There's a lot to unpack, but we have to be careful. Some things can't be unsaid, and once you know, you can't go back." They returned to the old metal box, and with trembling hands, Jenna opened it. Inside were letters, photographs, and artifacts steeped in history, all pieces of a family that needed to be brought into the light. As Nathan began to share the tales that had been buried, Jenna felt the bonds of their connection strengthen. Each revelation was like a thread being woven into a tapestry that told not just their grandmother's story, but their own. With every passing moment, the weight of the past began to lift as understanding filled the cracks of generation-old wounds. They were learning to embrace their legacy, one of heartache, love, and resilience. When Nathan finished, the air pulsated with the energy of truth spoken, clouds of doubt lifting towards the sun. "We're still family," Rachel whispered, a radiant smile blossoming on her face. "We've gone through hell, and look at us now." Tears brimmed in Jenna's eyes as she pulled her siblings close, filling the space with warmth and forgiveness. "This is our journey. Let us keep moving forward, together." And with that, amid the remnants of their grandmother's secret, they stood more united than ever. The past will always be a part of them, but now they wore it like armor, ready to carve out a future they could call their own. The sun dipped below the horizon, bathing them in golden light, illuminating paths unseen, full of hope and endless possibility. Jenna was free. Her heart was soaring, ready to embrace whatever came next. And as they filed back inside, she couldn't help but feel that family wasn't just about blood. It was about love and acceptance, understanding that every wound could lead to healing. If they could withstand the past, they could face anything. Now it was time to forge their path forward. And you need to subscribe now. Don't miss another exclusive story like this one. Hit that bell for notifications. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread these powerful messages. Comment your thoughts on this transformative journey. How does it resonate with you? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to show how much you support these stories.